all over the world. Welcome to Powerful Couple Journey, where we show you
all of our daily life here in the US.
So in today's video, we are going to dedicate ourselves to answer some common questions that we have from our J1 Waiver Helping Hands group on Facebook. If you want to take a look at it, it's very helpful. We are helping other J1 teachers who are seeking for the step-by-step process and how to do it through DIY. So let's
begin.
First question. For anyone who has filed a hardship waiver in the past or in the process, how long was your statement for the Department of State DS 3035, or is it the same as the USCIS statement? So what did we do during that time for our papers for J1, DS 3035 and the I-612?
Well, I remember we submitted a lot of evidence that was going to demonstrate how much hardship was going to happen. In our case, there was a lot of different things. There was financial, there was emotional, there was also spiritual too. And the reason I say that is her and I are members of church together, and we do volunteer work there. And if she had to return to the Philippines for 2 years, guess what that means? I'm probably not going to continue that volunteer work. I'm going to distance myself because not having her around is going to affect me emotionally, where I'm not going to want to do that sort of thing. So you've got multiple facets that you have to show them where you're going to have hardship at. And I remember the financial one was especially compelling in our case because our income, we're so dependent on each other's income. If you take away one income, it's financially devastating. Then you're not being able to make your bills, and there was rent, there was car payments, there was utilities, there was credit card debts, there was many things that we had to keep up on. So that was probably the biggest one.
Yes, and also we have psychological assessment through a psychiatrist/psychologist, and it's because my husband has a history of PTSD, and what else is that?
Prior abuse from my mother.
Prior abuse, yes. Yeah. And we are so thankful that we have all those kept from the psychology he has been seeing through the years, and then we got the letter from her, and that really is a big factor for our totality of circumstances.
And I also remember we got letters from a lot of other people too. We got letters from like some extended family. We got letters from my family. We got a letter from the woman who introduced us. We got a letter from our pastor who married us. We also got a letter from the guy who did our premarital counseling at the church. So we had some pretty compelling evidence. And that's the whole thing. You've got to almost overwhelm them with evidence.
Yes, and also to answer your question, we have submitted the evidences first with the I-612 through the USCIS, and then with a statement of reason, we kind of like changed a little bit, making it more appropriate for the Department of State officer to read. So it's kind of like paraphrasing the rest of the statements. That way it's appropriate for each department. And I hope we answered that first question.
Yes, hopefully we were very thorough with that.
Yes, so number 2. I would greatly appreciate if you can share your waiver application status based on exceptional hardship. Okay. So with the exceptional hardship that we have, you always have to think of this. There is 2 compelling reasons why you wanted to get an exceptional hardship through your U.S. citizen spouse. First is you have to think, what is the detrimental thing or situation that will happen if your USCIS spouse will go back with you to your home country, like for example the Philippines, because I came from the Philippines. And the second thing is, if the USCIS spouse has to stay here all by himself while you are fulfilling your 212E rule or home residency requirement in the Philippines. So again, the totality of circumstances is based on your love story and how you come up with your arguments. It has to be true, and you have to see all facets and factors when it comes to your overall situation.
Yeah. One of the things I remember was we painted a picture of what the scenario would be if I were to try and join her in the Philippines. And that wouldn't have worked out very well because, first of all, the line of work that I was in, they don't have that in the Philippines at all. It's what I do is actually a kind of a niche market type of manufacturing that's only found in a precious few areas, even here in the U.S. In the Philippines, they don't even have this type of manufacturing that I do. So I would not have been able to find gainful employment using my current skill set. So that would have been a financial hardship on us in the Philippines right there. And that's going to be probably true of a lot of U.S. citizen spouses. A lot of the work that they do here in the U.S. doesn't really necessarily translate there.
And also, you have to also consider the language barrier and
That's
the
true.
safety of your U.S. citizen spouse, the life that he has have to come up with because he's going to be adjusting from the life he is used here in the US and then going back to your home country. So there are a lot of things that you have to consider, and a very compelling argument that you have to state in your paper.
That's right. And also, the older your U.S. citizen spouse is, the harder it would be for him to adjust.
I submitted for an advisory opinion and still waiting for the result to come out. Should I wait for the result to come out before I complete the Form DS-3035 for the Department of State? So this question, I believe, is for me. I submitted first the DS-3035, but then I also submitted after a few weeks my advisory opinion because I know for a fact that I already got a stamp on my visa on DS 2019 for having a 212E rule. But again, I still wanted to have an advisory opinion because that is really coming from the Department of State, and it's a compelling reason for me to really push with the exceptional hardship submitting the DS 3035. Question: has anyone flown domestically with only their Philippine passport as proof of identification? Are there any restrictions? Could you please remember the time that we went to Colorado and I only used my Philippine passport and we don't have any problems with that?
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Because all they really need when you're flying domestically is just something that identifies you. She also had a driver's license, but it was also just a temporary driver's license. So she actually preferred to use her passport. And I believe that was actually probably a more compelling piece of identification anyways, because they definitely didn't give us any trouble with that at all.
Yes, so there's no restrictions for that.
No restrictions at all.
In our case, by the way.
So,
Next question: married to a U.S. citizen and ready to file the I-130, which is the petition for alien relative. What are the steps you did to get approved? You are the one who filed.
that's
for the
right, I
I-130.
did that. All right, so the first thing I did was obviously I filled out the I-130 completely. Okay, I mean, even if there's a spot on there that doesn't apply to you, just put NA. Okay, fill out every single blank, no matter how tedious or innocuous it may be. That's what you do. The second thing I did was it asks you for some evidences. So what I did was I just put in all these different evidences that showed our coupleship. I put in there obviously our copy of our marriage license. I put in there a letter from our pastor. There was a letter from our premarital counselor. There was also a certificate we received from our premarital counselor. I put in there bank statements that showed our joint banking we had. I put in there at the time we jointly owned a Toyota car together. So I put in there documentation that showed that, plus also the insurance documentation. And then there was some investments that we had together, so I showed that we did jointly, so I put the documents in that showed that as well. And then we included a bunch of different photographs as well. We included photos from the wedding that showed not only us at the ceremony, but also showed a lot of our guests at the ceremony. We also showed pictures of the wedding reception. Then we also put in photos from when we were dating. We showed them some of the activities and things that we would do when we were in our courtship phase. I just loaded the whole thing up with as many pieces of evidence that I could to show them that this is a legitimate marriage. I love this woman very much. We cohabitate together. Oh, and that reminds me, that was the other thing I put in there. At that point in time, we were just renting a house, so I had a copy of the lease that had both of our names on it, and that was also included in there as well. So yeah, anything that you're doing jointly with your wife, you put that in there, no matter what it is. Even if it's something small, I don't care if it's you guys have a membership to a Jelly of the Month club or something as ridiculous as that. Put it in there. Every piece of evidence, from the big to the small, matters.
True. And how did you do the money order?
The money order, well, that I just went to Amscot, but you could also go other places too that sell money orders. If you don't have an Amscot in your area, you can go to your local post office. They have them. The customer service counter at your grocery stores have it. And also, I think even Western Union does it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, so I also seen that with the instructions of the I-130, there is already, everything has been placed in the USCIS website, and you're gonna see the link on the description. I'm gonna put it there. That way you're gonna be guided as well. And the I-130A has supposed to be for me, and then my husband helped me to fill that out. And we got our I-130 after almost 2 years.
Yes, it took a long time.
And we got an interview for that at the Jacksonville USCIS office.
Their field office up there. Also, another thing I just remembered too, if you have put your Filipino spouse as a beneficiary on anything, whether it be a life insurance policy, your 401k, even if she's only the partial beneficiary because you have other family, doesn't matter. If she's a beneficiary on anything like that, make sure you include documentation for that as well. It's also very compelling.
Yes.
So this will be part 1 of the question and answer series we're going to do on this.
Yes, and if you wanted to know more about the J1 waiver process, please click and subscribe for the Powerful Couple Journey, and we will be guiding you through our own experience. We are not immigration lawyers. This is just based on our experiences, and we are happy to help. Again, we have our Facebook group that is J1 Waiver Helping Hands, and we are almost 2,000 real people in that group. And also we are having our website, which we call powerfulcouplejourney.com, and we have there our customized statement of reasons that could help you making your own statement and arguments or affidavit regarding your J1 waiver journey through exceptional hardship with your U.S. citizen spouse. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Goodbye and God bless.
Bye, everybody.